Considering it's the 30th anniversary of the Sonic franchise, I believe this would be a good time to share some of my thoughts on how the Blue Blur needs to adapt for the next decade. The video title may sound a bit pretentious, but I genuinely feel that the current projection of Sonic will not be able to flourish in the years to come. Currently, out of all the different branches of Sonic, the movies are probably in the best position, and the sequel hasn't even released yet. It was well received by fans and critics despite its rocky beginnings, and this is a great thing. The production team listened to feedback and made a considerably large change to Sonic's CGI model. The actual events of the movie were fairly tame, but they have established a foundation from which more titles will come, and that the public seem interested in. The only problem I have with this is that the games themselves feel inadequate in comparison. Having high quality multimedia is always a beneficial factor, but Sonic is first and foremost a video game, so it's only natural to expect the games themselves to at least be held to the same standard as other media. Unfortunately though, this does not seem to be the case. Sonic games are still seemingly treated more as cash grabs than landmark products. Their development is constantly harmed by poor scheduling, crunch, and lack of investment. Despite fans complaining about the style of writing not fitting the characters for years, it had remained unchanged for a decade. Even the serious story of Sonic Forces had characters cracking one-liners referring to their own torture. The boost formula only really caters to a specific audience that it had cultivated, but for those who preferred the gameplay of either the classics or the 2000s variety, there was not much on offer. For the classics, there was an insane amount of tribute paid to iconic imagery like Green Hill, or bringing back the Badnik robot designs. However, this quickly grew old as it was nothing more than lip service. Those additions did not come with momentum gameplay, nor with expansive stages embellished with multiple paths. What was given was the playable classic Sonic, although he paled in comparison to the true classic gameplay, and in Forces, he was downright the worst aspect of the gameplay. Fans of the 2000s received episode Shadow. At a stretch, you could include the Chao in space animation, but that was it for a whole decade. Now, I'm not trying to advocate for splitting Sonic into multiple different categories that all need to take turns. Of course, the ultimate solution would be to make a game that, whilst may not be what some people were asking for, at least offers something for all kinds of fans. Whatever your opinions of Boost Sonic are, it is crystal clear that that formula is anything but unifying. The last decade has been host to the greatest period of division amongst the Sonic audience since its inception. For the games to be truly great, they must adapt to their ever-expanding audience, as well as to their environment. With the financial success of the movies, there should be a push to make Sonic games AAA once again. Having an enticing looking game can help bring players in. Once they are, the game also needs to deliver on the experience of a grand game. Of course, designing a new style for Sonic is easier said than done. You could try something completely new, although it didn't work out so well for Sonic Lost World. You may then think to draw from the past, but then you risk alienating Boost fans. If you try to make a game to please everyone, you will please no one. But I believe if you at least make a truly great game, then all Sonic fans would be able to find some enjoyment regardless of what the gameplay is. As such, I'm just going to list some elements that I believe would benefit Sonic games in the coming decade. How these can be woven into a cohesive experience is up for someone who gets paid to figure out. That said, if you want to see my idea of how to combine elements from classic, adventure and boost gameplay, check out my Adventure 3 Sonic video. One of the most crucial changes the Sonic games need to see are with their writing. The meta humour of the 2010s is now quite considerably dated. In a way, that is what you would expect. Meta humour tends to thrive off of disrupting a predictable pattern or contradiction as a way of informing the audience that the creators are well aware of their own faults. This was received relatively well around the time Colors had shown up, as the franchise had been taking itself seriously for a while. I don't think it's fair to say everything before Colors was overly serious, but that is how some members of the public saw it. Now though, the consistent use of meta-humor has worn away at the foundation of the series it is trying to make entertainment with. Characters have become caricatures of themselves. Whilst humour was always a part of Sonic, it was never the defining feature. This fixation on laughs over everything else has cost the series much of its substance, especially since many jokes are at the expense of the series itself. Not all the games need a serious story, although I don't see that as an issue. However, the games do all need to take themselves seriously, even if the story is light. Alternative media is a better place for meta-humor in my opinion. Characters other than Sonic need a resurgence as well. Before, their personalities and individual stories helped to bring in fans, as it gave people things to attach to, as well as facilitating more interesting interactions between characters. Likewise, more fleshed out characters help create more elaborate stories, with greater capacity to leave a memorable impression on the audience than in a game that constantly mocks itself. Making the other characters playable again is also something I deem absolutely necessary for the games to succeed over the next decade. Whether they have slight differentiating features or separate gameplay styles, the point remains that the option needs to be there. For a start, this can help mitigate the issue where supporting characters seem useless in modern titles, as they do nothing and aren't involved in gameplay. More importantly, it adds replayability. Sonic 3 had so many different ways to play it, and that was in no small part thanks to its playable characters. People seemed very excited to see Tails and Knuckles in the upcoming Sonic Movie 2, showing that there is still a desire to see more characters other than Sonic. And what better way to capitalise on this than by having them playable? Now, this one is something that should never have been removed in the first place, and that is the Chao Garden. This feature added countless hours across the globe to the playtime of early 2000s Sonic. Its brilliance is in its modularity. As an extra mode, the developers can decide if it has an impact on the main game, or if it remains isolated. People who don't care for the Chao don't have to engage with it, but for those that do, it can be a great source of gameplay that helps the lifespan of the game. There was no reason for its removal besides a lack of effort. It wasn't even in 06, so Sega doesn't have to break their golden rule of abandoning anything featured in Sonic 06. In more recent years especially, it seems that the Chao are at least making a small return into the general Sonic experience, but I will keep promoting them until they are restored fully. Chao is such an iconic element of the Sonic franchise, more so than the tiny animals from the classics. If you showed the public images of the tiny animals and of the Chao, more people would recognise the Chao. Something you may not have expected me to bring up are character themes. Music is a huge part of Sonic, and for the most part it has managed to maintain that. Character themes, however, have seemed to have gone extinct, and much like the Chao, I am unsure why. They added both to the game, but also to the character they were associated with. We still have game themes, thankfully, but it would be great to have character themes back as well. Infinite's was basically the only thing I cared for about his character, and having Sonic Colors theme slapped onto Sonic during the 2010s came off as odd. Sonic has plenty of themes that could be remade, or they could make a new one. Stop using Reach for the Stars as his personal theme. Spin-off titles can also help the gaming side of Sonic. Besides the fact that we got far less in the 2010s, most of the ones we did get were minor versions of console releases. Spin-off games in the past were wholly original experiences, while shifting gameplay into newer genres of Sonic. They were a great source of experimentation, as well as a nice holdover in between major releases. When I look back at Sonic's past 3 decades, I noticed that the 90s and 2000s had plenty of similarities, chiefly that they were pushing out AAA main releases alongside comics, TV shows, and spin-offs. Most of these were of good quality, and it made the franchise more appealing for a wide variety of people, as there was doubtless something you could enjoy, if not more. The 2010s, however, had way less video game releases in general, with generally worse overall reception. The only show it did have was based on the Boom universe, which wasn't what fans of the main series were looking for. Currently though, there is an ongoing movie franchise, which is a first for Sonic, and the IDW comics are still going strong. Although still mysterious, the Sonic Prime TV show is sounding like there's been a lot of effort put into making it a genuinely good show. If Sonic could just start putting out AAA games and solid spin-offs, it would be in a similar boat to the 90s and 2000s, if not better. Anyhow, those were my thoughts on how Sonic needs to change over the next decade. There is so much potential, but as of now, it's unclear whether Sega are willing to let go of the meta era and its aged gimmicks. How do you feel about Sonic's trajectory? Do you have different ideas to mine? Let me know in the comments below. This is the Mighty Emperor, signing off.